There are so many different ways to connect with God. And as much as I love temple worship, it is the intimacy of home worship that has brought a sense of peace and stability into my life. Not through doing something grand, but by paying attention to the small things, the little variations, the meanings behind what we do.
Om Sham Shanescharaya Namaha.
Last week, everything felt uncertain. I have the privilege of a gas pipeline. The situation in Iran has still affected life all around me, and there's no telling when it will end. On top of it, my very dear mango plant had a mealybug infestation. I even found myself anxious about how much my electric bill would come to this month. I tried distracting myself. I tried talking to friends, watching videos, playing games, but distraction didn't work. My mind kept going back to the same thing. On Saturday evenings, I pray to Shani on my balcony, which faces west. I light a sesame oil diya, and then I do japa using Shani's beach mantra. I very consciously offer sesame oil instead of mustard, which most people do, because for me, this puja does not seek to appease, but to offer pure devotion. I had consulted my Panditji on it, and he said that since I don't have a malefic Shani in my chart and no Shani Mahadasha, I can offer the strength giving and sacred sesame oil if I wish to. This Saturday, I was counting the chants on my Japamala, and the thought came to me, was he pleased with this worship? How will I know? How will I sustain something with no certain end? The uncertainty of last week had entered into my prayer space. And as I was struggling to keep praying without looking for an end, my thoughts went to Shani Dev himself. He is the child of Surya and Chaya, and few people know that Shani himself performed long, severe Tapasya for Shiva, the kind where nothing changes visibly for years, but the devotion stays steady. Shiva eventually grants Shani authority over karma, time, and consequences. But Shani couldn't have known that during the tapasya. So, how did he do it? And while we are on the subject, how did Parvati do it? There is no visible progress marker, no guarantee that Shiva will appear, no road to Shiva. Nobody knows where he is, no reassurance, just repetition, waiting, austerity, and faith. Sometimes I can barely sit with uncertainty for 10 minutes. I can't imagine doing it for years. And yet, it's possible. At this point, I had noticed that my mind wasn't present in japa, and so I completed the 108 and then shifted to singing the Shani Chalisa instead. And I enjoyed it very much. That day, I felt more immersed in singing than I had during the japa, and I was glad to have shifted the structure. Towards the end, there was this very brief moment, maybe a second or two, where I felt nothing but just intense love for Shani. In that moment, the praise wasn't coming from my mouth anymore. It was coming from my heart. And I felt that actually, if nothing changed externally, I could still keep doing this every Saturday for the rest of my life because the path itself had become meaningful. And the thing is, I might have experienced this before, but because I was questioning and thinking so actively about uncertainty, that day the answer came to me. And I can explain it to you very simply. With distraction. Your mind keeps waiting to return to the problem. But immersion holds your attention completely. And nowhere is immersion more accessible than in Hindu faith. There are just so many ways to immerse yourself in thoughts of the divine. Some days it can be japa or singing. You can cook prasad or sit in a mandir. You can vent all your problems to God or just sit silently with a diya. The diya can be ghee, mustard, sesame. It can come with a dhoop and incense stick. That incense or dhoop can be smelling of kesar, camphor, chandan, jasmine, rose, and it just goes on and on. The many different ways to enter prayer fully. And maybe that is why these practices survive. They help you present proof your life, which I feel is much more valuable than future proofing. If you can become steady today, the future won't be consuming every moment of true time in your hands. Prayer may not remove uncertainty. It may not change markets, health scares, or remove the insects from my mango tree, but it gives the mind rest, somewhere steady to return to while the rest of the world continues changing around us. It is the anchor that I certainly always looked for. Join me in the next episode as I keep exploring these small, everyday ritual insights and what we can actually do with them.